Hey, Phoenix is rising. Coach T here. We're doing a blackout again because I am not feeling well. It is about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've had 2 days off to think, to contemplate, um, to strengthen myself because the battle is not over yet, though we're coming out of the stalking, the harassment, we're changing cycles, and our enemies feel that. And I know that a lot of us are tired, as I shared with in a podcast yesterday called Perseverance. Um, to keep going, write 10 things that you have accomplished that you're proud of yourself about, so that way you can get a visual of what it is that you have accomplished, so that imposter syndrome does not take hold, because right now they are exploiting anything and everything. So, the title or topic of today's is once again talking about succubi. Oops, sorry. Talking about succubus. And again, I don't have my original setup. I got to get another battery for my MacBook. Um, so I'm working from two other MacBooks that are not up to par. So, sorry about that. But we are still going to get to the prayers. Bear with me. I'm going to say Psalms 91 over this podcast discussion, and then we'll get right into it, okay? And there we go. There we go. Make sure that you guys take a look at my Patreon too, because I am posting. Um, so there's going to be a tier if you want to learn about words of power or mantra. There's also going to be a tier of past discussions that are going to be only, they're going to be taken off of YouTube and put over because I'm, rebranding. And there will also be, uh, I think that's it. Interviews are coming up, but not right now. But we'll get to that. All right, loves. Psalms 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him shall I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Oh, sorry about that. It's been one of those days. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation. Amen and ashe and asheo. This is the power of prayer. There's times where, um, I've prayed, and mantra is a form of prayer as well. Your thoughts are a form of prayer, which is why we need to always be vigilant over our thoughts. I was getting into a depressive stupor yesterday, and I knew it wasn't me. I knew that it was the fragmented demonic spirit that was projecting towards me, because I haven't been destroyed. I'm still breathing. And on top of that, I ended up getting an apartment, so it's everything that they had planned to, try and take from me has backfired because the Most High God is good and I am as obedient. Hazel, you okay, Mama? You okay? I am as obedient as I possibly can. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to set my baby down. Here, sweetheart, come here. What you want, Mama? What you want? Huh? What's up, booger face? All right, sweetie. You want some water? You want some awkward? Here, get some water. Oh, sexy lady. Go get some awkward. You want no agua? Come on, sexy boy. All right, sexy mutt. All right, sorry, honey. Okay. All right, now. Um, so in our apartment, which it's taken me, I'll tell you this, Phoenixes, I didn't get to celebrate moving into our apartment because it was like I had to come in like a thief in the night. And was not, am, really happy about that. So I noticed it was just today that I was like, oh gosh, this is great and whatever. And this is an actual apartment, and it's taken a long time because I've, when we're dealing with cluster B personalities, they put us through the ringer to invalidate our existence, to invalidate our accomplishments, right? It's sabotage. And it's not just sabotage, but it's make you crash, cause towers in your life if they can, right? So here's as a transformational coach, and you can read what I offer in the description. I don't have any links, again, because um, I don't have my normal setup, so I had to copy and paste from a Google app that I wrote, my thing. But you can, I get the links are in my channel uh, header. But God, what I was gonna say, dang it! It took me a long time to because so they sabotage you. Not only do they sabotage you, thank you, Mama God. Not only do they sabotage you, but when you're dealing with cluster B personalities who are very competitive, no matter whether it's a real competition or a fake one, it's just a competition in their mind. Everything is, it's about me. It's all about me. What about me? What about me? What about me? What about me? Now, those of you who have grown up with Joyce Meyer, Generation X, right? I grew up with Joyce Meyer, love Mama J, raised me, gave me my spiritual foundation along with my adopted spiritual mother, Henrietta, rest her soul. And, she would say this robot thing because that's how she was. What about me? 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 And I went through that phase. It's a thing when we, as black sheeps, we become so accustomed sometimes to being alone and being within our thoughts and having it's us against the world, that Tupac song. It's me against the world, me against the world. And when we get other people who say the same things that we do, or they're on our same vibration, it's scary because it's like, wait a minute, I have been under this illusion that I am the only one of my kind. So how can I trust this, right? Um, so I don't know what I'm saying, what I was leading into with that, but Maybe somebody needed to hear it, and maybe I'll come back around. Like, I have been so exhausted. So again, not only I didn't celebrate getting an apartment, getting in very quick, and that was the grace of God, literally getting in very quick, um, and just God guiding me, and I'm learning to let go in this new stage because it looks like sometimes on our journey it'll look like we have gone all the way back to the beginning. This is not the first time that it has looked like I've gone back to the beginning. But this is the first time that I have an energy that's surrounding me that is, it feels like imminent, imminent, violent uh, danger. That's what it feels like. And so talking about the reason why I wanted to bring up succubuses, but not only succubuses. So I'm talking from a lesbian's perspective, um, and I focus. My niche is my clientele is black lesbians and trans, 30 to 50 years old, who have grown up in abusive households, relationships, and want to break those patterns, and are willing and ready to do either one on ones with me or group sessions for the program from Sealed to Healed, where I take you through what, who, what, when, where, why, and how cluster bees go after us, their tactics, the terminology, how to identify. And what makes me a great coach is that I'm not going to go through. I don't. I go into the occult. I go in because it is a demon possession. It's basically the cocktail cluster B diagnosis in that category, that psychiatric category. They are they are character disturbed. They are not emotionally um, sick, or they're not sick or anything like that. They are very character disturbed. So what, with me having survived several attempts on my life, I mean, like, I don't even know if you guys would believe me if I told you that they just tried to make, do something. I am constantly being attacked by witchcraft. I am unfortunately still going through stalking, though it's very slight now. I've gone through those things. I was homeless for 3 years, not because I wasn't picking up and going, but because people wanted to keep me on the streets. When you're dealing with cluster B personalities, when you are dealing with the um, malignant narco psychopath, uh, they feel that you need to be humbled because you shine too bright for them, and they think that you think that you're better than them because they already had came with a low self-esteem. And with cluster B personalities, they will never do their own work. It's always somebody else's fault. What they are very good at is hiding that their insecurities until they meet earth angels, until they meet um, the real children of God. Like, we came in here earth angels. We came in here Buddhas. We came in here Krishnas. So it's, and it's not arrogant to say, just claim your divinity. So the second part, from sealed to healed, the first part is understanding who, what, when, where, why, how cluster B personalities work, and what their tactics are, who they target, why they target, and the witchcraft part. The second part is 4 steps: reveal, heal, grow, and show, to getting excavating through to your authentic self. These are the same steps that God pretty much said, this is what I brought you through. And repetitive, right? But with every stage, like, okay, we're going through this now. I graduated to second grade, so now I'm going up, and I'm going up now. I've graduated from second to third grade, etc., 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 right? So it is kind of like, as a script writer, as well. I went to got my bachelor's in filmmaking and script writing, videography actually, and script writing, and was not able to complete my master's or even to get out really in the business because I was inundated with this gang stalking crap. And but what there's a beginning, middle, and an end. Okay, so and that's the hero's journey. There's always there's like there's in a script there are three acts. Okay, in the hero's journey there's like 4 or 5 segments, but you got each little thing throughout it. But with reveal, there's an issue. So in the steps that I take you through. So here's 4 steps, right? Reveal, heal, grow, and show. And if you think about that, think about your favorite movie. It's like, okay, everything's going along, and then your world is literally shattered. Mine was shattered by becoming homeless after I allowed a woman to live in my home against my intuition. I did not listen to my intuition, okay, because I was a people pleaser and I was lonely and I was going through things, okay. So here, my world is shattered, and then what is revealed to me throughout the tower, and my whole life breaking down was a type of character disturbance or a type of person that I had never met before, or not that I maybe have not met, kind of, but had not gone into detail, to know to I would always been able to run from them, you know, or freeze, or get out of it somehow, right? So I got revealed to me what this type of character disturbance, i.e., demon possession, was, right? For us in the human world, is called cluster B personality. I saw it in my dad, so the Most High God was revealing, okay, this is what your father went through. This is what you went through with your father. This is what you went through with your stepmother. This is your mom, right? So I had a lot of cluster B personalities. I had a lot of flying monkeys. I came from an extremely severely toxic family, and I had a counselor one time tell me, if it was not for my capacity, my a deep, and she even said, kind of sheepishly, if it wasn't for my capacity to love, I would have been dead, right? So, so here's the reveal, and then I heal because now I'm aware of whatever's going on, right? And then I grow because I've healed it. When you heal a plant, I was watching a TikTok video, and so let's say you have a tear in a plant, right? And so somebody they cut that tear, and they kind of cut the plant at the tear, they cut that tear off, and then they kind of graft back in that plant, right? And that plant grows, heals, and continues to grow, right? Because before that, it was either stunted or it was growing in toxicity. So you can cut that out by allowing the Most High God to show you, give you an answer to your deep soul question about why is this happening, right? And then you get the answer. You see it for what it is. You forgive yourself first. You forgive other people, which does not mean that you have to interact with them and subject yourself to even more hurt or being hurt over again, because there are, people are not happy when you grow. I'm living proof of it. They're not happy when you move on from a relationship or from, just a run in with them. They're not happy, you know? So you don't have to subject yourself. Do not subject yourself, right? I'm not ever going to tell my clients, hey, You know, that's why I always state, you forgive yourself first. It doesn't matter what other people think of you. When forgiveness, my definition of forgiveness is letting the situation go now that I know what I know that I know. I see it for what it is. I own my part. I heal myself. I forgive myself. And now I know better. So now I'm going to do better. That's the growth. Forgiveness is of other people, and is I can't do anything about it. I can't go back, right? Like if you have some financial thing, fine. You know, I mean, ask the Most High God for guidance. Sometimes He may have you just send a put something in an envelope and send it to them, or put it at their door or whatever if you don't want them to have your address, etc., etc. Because really, it's about protecting ourselves, especially in this day and age where people are so thirsty and they're housing a lot of walk-ins, and I've been seeing that. I've been seeing people in their natural form, and it's not pretty. Okay, it's pretty ugly, but you can grow from cutting out what no longer serves you. You're not losing anything, and sometimes the Most High God has to take us back, right, in order for us to move forward again. So sometimes we have to be taken back, not because the Most High set us back, but because our attackers, our accusers have sabotaged something in our lives. For me, they were sabotaging since I have been here. It is the devil has been relentless. What is it, Hazel? Get in the bed. Bed. If you're not gonna go pee pee, is that what you want to do? Okay, not right now. Go ahead and get into bed, and I'll take you out later. Go. I think she wants to get back in the bed. You want to get back in here? Okay. All right, then. Go ahead now. Yeah, she likes the bed better. She's been on people have been so gracious to us um, by giving us a bed, and giving me dog beds and dog food and things of this nature. Has been so great. So anyways, since I have been here in my new place in the new city, people have like just the same type of energy. It's not even the same people, but it's the same, that energy has traveled, right? And so we're talking about occult forces. And when people say I have been attacked and sabotaged and attempts on my life since childbirth, I this is what they're talking about. This demonic entity, God knows from what realm or dimension it's from. Like I know the demons, like I know one of them. One of them is Azazel. Azazel will shapeshift to people, right? They will even use people to astral project or remote view to get to you, right? So whatever it is, this thing, because I was reflecting, it's like, well, I was going through this before I even met my gang stalkers. Just like we plan and we strategize and we implement, so is the the children of darkness. That's what they're doing. These principles and principalities are also planning and strategizing, right? So since I've been here, because I'm not supposed, whatever it is, I am not even clear on what I'm supposed to do. I know my bloodline. I know you know what I mean? They weren't expecting me, and they weren't expecting you, Phoenix, to learn and to grow and to survive and to thrive. So their whole goal is to bring you down, right? And to take your spark, to take your tenacity, to kind of wear you out, And I told the Most High God, it's like, I feel worn out, even though I recognized it as that demonic energy, that demonic entity, kind of just, enveloping me in through a cluster B personality, enveloping me in their depression, in their sadness, right? I think I've said in other podcasts that somebody followed me. Literally, you've got to be obsessed when you are following somebody 15 1,500 miles away from the original destination, and it makes absolutely no sense, right? And so that's what we deal with. But um, one thing that you get sabotaged. You get sabotaged, and the reason why they sabotage you when you are unhealed. This is the thing, Phoenix is rising. It's I don't feel good. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't feel good. I feel like crap. I feel like crap because this is the aftermath. Because even though I'm still having to deal with, sporadic attacks and whatever, my spiritual team really has had it handled. That's why they're like, you need to just let us guide you. Okay, that's one thing I got very clear. In this stage, I am not, sometimes they'll have us, okay, you've done enough work. We've told these people it's divine timing now. We're ready. The stage is set and we're going to go after them. But what we need you to do is to focus. What we need you to do is keep your vibration up as high as you can. We need you to do the smoothies. We need you to do the protein shakes. We need you to do the super green foods and salads and stuff. We need you to, maybe not stop eating that food. Whatever your intuition is telling you, we need you to keep walking, even though your body feels intensely heavy. Because anybody who has gotten out of a relationship with a narcissist or done, dealt with gang stalking, it is psychologically exhausting and it is physically exhausting because you are constantly in a state of fight or flight. That's why your belly gets big, and overlaps because of the cortisol, the overdose basically of cortisol. And because I know it's like I was working out and it was just fine, and as soon as I relaxed, right, I started being attacked again. Because these guys will know your body. They know, especially for black women, they know that if people say, oh, it's your thyroid. Well, thyroids start acting up because of stress. And then once I find that article, I will read it. I'll just, do a reading on it and post the video so you guys know. Because I had to look it up for myself. It's like, okay, why am I going through this? Well, you're going through it because I overworked out, right? I overworked out because I was stressed, and that was how I would deal with the stress. And I was paranoid because I didn't want to lose my progress after I quit smoking, on top of everything else. So when I had to settle down, is when the devil, this demonic entity decided that it was going to attack me, and it attacked my sacral chakra. It attacked, it basically, it felt like somebody was using me as a punching bag. That's what it literally felt like. So when I say that I have dealt with people who, do witchcraft, I have dealt with people who are childish to begin with because they are a cluster B personality and have a very vivid imagination, but have been using their imagination, to create simulations that have characters that have not agreed to play a role, right? When I first lived with Olga Texador, and I've mentioned her before, because like I said, I am not going to, you take the power away from your predators by saying their name. They try and shame us, the survivor, victim blaming, victim shaming, by saying, well, you don't have to say their name. You're just being bitter, or what is that? What is the other term? You're being bitter or petty. No, I am taking my power back by releasing them and their sins from me because they're in my energy. When people like that stay in your energy, like I have this woman, what I've experienced is energetically is People will project themselves to you and their problems because they can't handle it. They don't want to take the karma. So if you are working from your heart chakra is open, they see that as a weakness, right? And I have felt these demonic entities. There is nothing there. Like it's weird. It's a weird sensation. That's what, if people stop projecting to people if you don't want them to get to know you, right? Because this is where I get the wisdom from. Is because when these witches and warlocks project themselves to me, I can tell that you're a pedophile because your thoughts are always on essaying kids. And trigger warning, but that's what I had with this woman. Was she was in my energy, she was spiritually hovering, and I was working on some artwork that had to do with black children, cosmic, and she was literally lusting over them. And I had to stop because it was disgusting that I almost threw up. Right? I am not a pedophile. Never have been, never will be. I have cousins, two cousins, and my own dad who are. Right? It seems to come with the cluster B territory because they don't have boundaries. Okay? And I'm not going to go into this woman. I've already talked about her enough. But, when they project onto us their insecurities, their frustration with the fact that we're not dead, or the fact that we're still surviving. I remember the second time I was sabotaged from a job at the company I was working for, security company I was working for. I could feel the entity, like, like they were literally hitting me, like, why are you surviving, why are you know what I mean? And when you are clairscient, you got all the clairs, you can hear it's sometimes it's so intense you can hear it, right? So the where the succubuses come in at is that these guys, and I said this at the beginning when I started this channel. When you are dealing with cluster B personalities, because they have not healed their wounds, they have allowed themselves to be um, flop houses for multiple demons, right? Like, you attract. There was a lady that I would clean her, walk her dogs, and um, do her dishes, and she was the hub for all the cockroaches in the hotel because she would leave the dishes. She would leave them, and I would see cockroaches just running around. I mean, the whole hotel had cockroaches galore, right? So when you leave dirt and disgusting mold and crap out there and you're unkept and clean, that's what you're going to attract. Those are the type of spiritual demonic parasites that cluster B personalities attack. I'm going to read that book too, to you. It's called Paranormal Parasites. And there's a second title. But, when cluster B personalities don't do their work, and so when they see us, we're not doing anything special. We're not doing anything particular, per se, because we are. That's what makes them mad. That's how you know that you're authentic. What my job is as a transformational coach is to transform you from imposter syndrome, poverty syndrome, and the like, back to your authentic self by, giving you, taking you, walking you back, basically, to yourself through 4 steps, right? But when you don't, so these guys want you to be their lover, their mother, their sister, their brother, their bank account, their counselor, right? They want you to sit there in a cage like a dog. Both, and it was all of them. When I want to talk to you, I'll talk to you. I had 3 women. None of these guys I dated. That's not my story. So these are people that I just met. So imagine if I would have been in romantic relationships with any of these women, God forbid. I mean, just gross to think about. But, I mean, because they were already like, we're in a relationship without my permission. I remember thinking that with one of them, because the first one was like, wait a minute, I feel like I'm playing a character that I didn't sign up for. I didn't audition to play this role, right? So, they can't tell their fantasies from reality and they just implement it. And it throws normal people off. When I mean people who are just kind of existing in life, right? Not chosen or not demonic. They're just existing in life. They're just mediocre. And I know how that sounds, but I'm going to leave it where it is. Um, they can't tell the shift, they can't sense it, they don't know, because and really what happens too is it scares people. I know the first time I met Olga, and she went had a temper tantrum. I experienced that narcissistic rage, and I mean, I got nervous, but there's always something that when something like that happens to me, I go into a certain mode. I don't even know what to call it, but I'm ready to get down. So it's like my nervousness will turn into an adrenaline rush. The adrenaline rush is a um, kind of like a self-righteous. I haven't done anything to you. If you want smoke, I got it for you. You know, um, and this woman knew that, but when you're dealing with cluster B personalities, because part of the cocktail is sociopathy and psychopathy, they're going to keep to their pattern. They're going to keep to the template, and they're going to do it over and over and over and over and over again. Different day, different, every 3 months they restart themselves. They loop. They are literally on Groundhog's Day. And that's not an exaggeration, because I had it happen to me and I thought, oh my God, this after 3 months, it was what, like kind of 2.5. And it's after the discard. So they'll discard you and then do it again, try and go through the same thing. So I was listening to this woman tell me the same things, in the same way, wearing the same clothes. And I was like, whoa, what is going on here? Like, I know what I'm seeing, but so it's that brazenness, it's that boldness that these cluster B personalities work with that scares people, and literally it shocks you. So you go through out of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, you're frozen because you're having a hard time processing this insanity. So that's why a lot of times people don't say anything, and they don't want to deal with it on top of that, right? So when we tell them, they're like, "Oh, well, you're just crazy." Why? Because they convinced themselves that they were crazy, that nothing happened, and this is it. This is, they're doing normal, or and they'll make excuses for them, right? But when you have a cluster, and I say succubuses because one thing that I've realized, the succubus and the incubus, it's not just about sex. That's a part of the cocktail, is the histrionic. Histrionic personality disorder is people misinterpret. I don't think that they're misinterpreting it. They're just lustful. That's a succubus. I want to, and they're not going to just take you while you're sleeping. They're going to take you while you're sleeping, while you're awake, right? I had a run in with the succubus, and who's still stalking me, who's the one that followed me. Both of these guys actually followed me 15 miles away, or 1,500 miles away. And after I left, and I'm like, oh my God, why are you here? And it's the weirdest. It's the most discouraging, heartbreaking um experience. Is to say, okay, I can't start my life over yet, right? So, but I keep doing what it is that I'm supposed to be doing for me, right? Still being in my purpose. And so when you're dealing with, I believe that a succubus is somebody who is just an energy vampire. I know that people, it's like the folklore is that they'll drain a man at night and drain his sexual energy and stuff like that. But sexual energy is part of creativity. Okay, so anytime they'll drain your chakra, they'll use your chakra as a portal, to get in. I have had I there's a oh god, there's so many books that I'm so anxious to read and share with you guys that have literally that I've just on my journey, that God was just like, boom, here's this answer, this answers your question here, this answers this, right? And where this woman is talking about a reptilian sexual encounter, or that there are some, I think she called them archons actually, and where these are the sexual demons. So you have demons that, of course, specialize in certain types of things, but it doesn't, it's all to drain your energy, it's all to drain your life force, right? So a succubus is something that sucks the life out of you in general, right? It's not just about money, it's all that you are. It's all that you are. And there has never been a cluster B personality that I have met that has not focused on my earnings, right? What am I earning? I was cleaning this woman's hotel room to be able to shower, and walking her dogs to be able to cook, and washing her dishes that she had left for 2 or 3 days or weeks or whatever, so I could just sit there and watch TV, and take a break from walking every day. This woman did not want to help me out of my situation. She wanted to keep me in it, so, and keep me, in all of them. Every one woman that I met, and every woman that I met sexualized me. They had a fetish for black women. And the Most High God brought up to me again, and I was like, why are you bringing this up to me? And I think because, like, as a lesbian, we don't talk enough about the sexual assaults by other women that we experience. The rapes, the molestations, and trigger warning, but this is why I coach black lesbians, so that we can have this community. But this woman was 70 years old, and it was weird, because I was like, why are you talking to me like this? And the way that she was talking to me was like a, sexual child predator. And I'm going to continue to use the term child molester. You're not, I mean, that's just like when you say, okay, well, don't call them illegals, right? What does it say in the Bible? We will confound their language. You know, I am proud to be a lover of women because I am not a predator. That is not what the Bible has talked about. The Bible was actually against pedophiles. When it said man shall not lay with another man, it was really saying man shall not lay with a boy. That's the original translation. So imagine how many times that Bible has been translated. I mean, you could look on Bible, Bible.com or .org or whatever, and see, you get to pick your version. It's overwhelming. It's like, just give me the New Testament, the King James version, and let's be done with it. I like that Shakespearean, but you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's, I have no shame, and God dealt with me with that when I was on the streets for 3 years. He was like, "It's never been. It's your spirit. I know who I am." Right? So we are living in a matrix that keeps us from everything that they tell us that we're not supposed to do or be is exactly what we're supposed to do or be. Uh, you know, um, they tell us not to, like when they try and twist it, so it's like, okay, you can't call somebody out as a pedophile, or you can't call somebody out as an illegal in the country or whatever, right? Because, oh, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So you're closing off the throat chakra. You're keeping somebody from speaking their truth and defending themselves. You're castrating people spiritually, right? And I notice how we've been inundated with all these outings of these sexual predators, and it's everywhere, right? But it's kind of starting to numb us to it. But I do believe that um so yeah, with the succubus, it's they're there to drain everything from you, especially if you've ended up discarding them, right? Giving them a narcissistic wound, a wound to their ego. They're going to be livid that you continue to build. That's what I've experienced. To say, hey, you continue to build, you continue to get jobs. People like you. People are flirting with you. We don't want you to have a relationship, right? You get to the point in your spiritual journey where you just realize it's like this is the matrix. This is no longer me because you're not participating in the matrix. Remember the movie The Matrix. Go watch it if you haven't. Right? When he tapped out, the matrix was still running. And then what were they doing? The oh god, the Mr. Smiths. And that's why I used to say, dude, you've been Mr. Smith. The Smiths would come after Neo, would come after Lawrence Fishburne's character, would come after Trinity. Because why? They were a threat to the system. So I wanted, succubuses are, and I was thinking that just because yesterday one of these succubuses was projecting lust towards me, right? Like for some, she just keeps hooking in, and it's been over 3 years now. And this is the one that was married, married to a married man, does not is not able to take care of her children, doesn't want to take care of her children, to be more accurate. She wants to run the streets and party and do what all this. But then the thing with her is like now you have, it's not now, but this, she has a sexually transmitted disease. So how are you having sex with people, and why are, and this is the woman who wants to live like a straight woman but force other women that she meets and lusts after to be lesbian only. Like she was having an affair with somebody who worked for the same company that she was with, and this woman just had a baby. And they're not best friends. It was a white woman. So it's like that's why I said she didn't like me as a black woman. She just wanted my money. She really thought that I was the N word. And this was a Mexican woman. I never gave her any signs of being, attracted to her or anything else. And I thought it was really odd when, she left, and I was like, okay, well, I really don't want to talk, just in the nicest way possible. And I told her, it's like, you can do so many great things. And I, just left her with some motivation. And for somebody to be stalking another person that they've never dated, never been with, because they had the plans to siphon all their money and energy and healing power. Because I heard what she said. God was revealing to me that this woman had a demon attachment to her, and she had multiple personalities upon all the other things that I already mentioned about her. Right? So that's what I'm saying. When you look at the movie The Matrix, it's the same thing in our lives, right? It's maybe not be so sensationalized, but this is what I was going through, what we're going through now, right? Where you have people who are so obsessed with getting back at you. This is the same woman who accused me of being a pedophile, but opened up the floodgates for people to say, oh, well, wait a minute. What's this between you and your blood, right? I even saw that. right? And so, but you have with these cluster B personalities, they don't want to deal with their ugliness. That's what makes them so, they'll go into a real hardcore depression. So think about it. As simple as it is, it's very complex way of being where you have a group of people who do not want to. It's been happening a lot. And I'm like, where is that coming from? Yeah, that is definitely an attack. Because I was doing just fine, but it felt like powder. I remember, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I remember I was at the train station in Sacramento. I was getting off work, waiting for the train, and I had passed through, and some witch, luau, whatever they call themselves, had projected himself to me, right, to my area, and I saw him, and I remembered looking back, and as I looked back, I saw him blow a white powder in my face, right? So this was somebody that looked, they weren't ancient, but they could have been in another country, you know? So I saw this happening. And I remembered as he blew the powder, I'm like, ugh. And I'm like coughing it up and I'm trying not to inhale it because that's how intense it was. How this, if the world is a hologram, we who are clairsentient and clairaudient and clairvoyant and etc., right? We have ESP, we have all this, right? We're supernatural ourselves. So it's kind of like in Predator, where the predator cloaked itself, right? That's that, and you. But in the movie, you saw that there was an outline, kind of glazy, glossy, but it was you didn't see the full definition and colors of this creature. That's how this guy presented himself, and I knew it was a man because I could, tell, sense the energy, masculine energy. And he was literally, and he was Hispanic, and he was literally just waiting there. I think, well, he was either Hispanic or African, or you know what I mean, like, so. But yeah, so you have to be careful. The point of me bringing up the difference of, like, I don't want people to think that succubuses or incubuses are just after your money. You are priceless. You are wealth. So they are after everything that you are and everything that you possess. And when they don't get it, they can put themselves in a psychosis, right? And they can be so obsessed over winning you over. This, I have, have this woman who's still like, how could you, like, she just is dumbfounded, and I don't know how. Like, I understand, right? I understand cluster B personalities. I understand this succubus. I understand, their tactics and how they work. What I can't understand is stalking somebody for 3 years, even to the point of where you're moving here. So I have had somebody, whoever this is too, they project themselves to me. Like, I can, like, if they're walking. So what happened before we moved into our apartment was the day, well, I think it was probably the couple days before I had left my job or whatever, of working with this other company, and this person had projected their consciousness to me, not because they wanted me to see them, or because they're not thinking. You got to understand, with people with cluster B, they're so arrogant that they just think that you're dumb. They have to think that you're dumb. That's that grandiose sense of self. Nobody is smarter than them, and that's the way that they're delusional, and it's their delusions that move, keep them going, keep them doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result, which is absolutely insane. So this person had, and I wasn't sure until that night and I think it was that night that she had come to where I was, to my new city, and just to make sure that I didn't date anybody else. It's just bizarre, like, to be so upset that somebody rejected you that you would pick up and leave every illusion and persona and mask and whatever that you have made in that city 1,500 miles away to come, So you're doing a lot of witchcraft to find out. But again, these guys are gang affiliated and they all keep a network. So it's that, mafia mentality. But just, to deal with people who, uh, and what I was going to say too was that this person, so the other night, there was this lust all of a sudden, and I'm like, what is this? And it's her, right? It's her. So when she came into to my hotel, and she threw her consciousness at me, because why? She was getting ready. She was psychically attacking me. She was, and all I heard was die, die, die. So it was a thorough, and I'm like, I don't even know how you would do that. Like, you're walking past me, and what I smelt was the laundry room that was in the hotel. So I knew when as she passed my room and said, die, 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 die. And I felt some pressure. I forwarded it away, pretty much just batted it away. And because it's not the first time that she's literally tried to make me go crazy, right? Like, these guys, sometimes they don't want you to be conscious of anything. They will do, try spells to try and make you schizophrenic, try and make you have an aneurysm, try and make you, go into a psychosis, right? And that's why it's like, if you guys sign up for my Patreon, or just keep on my Fiverr, um, and I will have these programs where you can learn words of power to be able to do what I'm doing, and be able to not just survive but thrive. Because it's witchcraft. When they're attacking your finances, there's a mantra, to build back up that energy. This woman was trying to take away, make sure that I had no income, because she wanted to come back in and be that knight in shining armor, because I had already told her, I'm not moving in with you, right? And she got mad. I always get what I want, was her thinking. So I'm gonna, but why? At that time, I was making $26 an hour. So why would you think? And I was comfortable. I had a nice stash, financial cushion, and I was working 40 hours. I was building my brand. I was building my coaching business, and I've had to put that on hold. I don't feel that I'm up to par, but I'm doing the best that I can, because when I have something to share, I'm going to always share it with you guys, right? But this woman set out to destroy my life, along with other people who were already thinking, oh, we can destroy you. We're going to sacrifice you to Azazel, right? And this was because, and I did put her on blast, because, so this lady psychically attacked me and ran. And just yesterday, I was taking a nap, and I was going down for a nap, because I've had 2 days off in a row, and I just went ahead and took it. And I was going down for a nap, and all of a sudden somebody throws their consciousness. Now they'll attach themselves to whatever portal in you, so you have to you have to seal yourself off, and you have to make sure that you raise a standard, or a hedge, or a sphere of protection against them, right? So because they're creating a holographic world where you were included, whether you want to be or not, you have to create your own as well. This is where your imagination comes in. This is why we do the work. We go through the 4 steps: reveal, heal, grow, and show. So, which helps you to excavate to your authentic self. So that way, when you do not have other people's clutter or any guilt or shame hindering you from getting to cracking on somebody who dares to disrespect your empire, which is your body, which is all your light bodies in every realm and dimension. Do you understand? This woman came after me. Now, it doesn't mean that she's not doing what she's doing, but what it does mean is that I will be compensated because I have made my declarations and decrees, and there are spiritual rules and laws and principles that I recognize because I've done my work and I kept faithful to the Most High God, even though I was frustrated. It doesn't mean that we don't say, hey, I don't know what's happening, but I'm tired of this BS. You know, like I could have, and I'll tell you, and I'm not bragging, but I'm human. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And if I say that I am in the world and not of it, right, I still have to get clearance from the Most High God to be able to do what I'm going to, what it is that I would like to do, right? Like there were several times where this these people did what they did, and I could have taken their heads off in the physical, but I was not allowed. And there was twice when I was not going to be obedient, and the Most High God and my angels, my spirit team literally had to hold me back because I was tired of it. You know, Most High God had to tell me it's not just about you. Okay? So we have to remember that. But you have to get to your authentic self and start living from your authentic self and start purifying your bloodline, purifying your family tree, right? Just like you purify your mind now the way people say, oh, I'm just calling my, you can't call back what you don't have room for. How can you call back your power if you don't know what power you have? What position do you play? I know that I am androgynous. I am two spirited. So that means I am the emperor and empress of my empire. Unless people know the code or have the password, you're not allowed to come in and enter. So anybody who tries to come in or who does come in is called breaking and entering. If you go to my TikTok, I have reposted, and I may post it on my YouTube too. But I wanted, the lady is, I think she's Australian, and she does some healing and psychic healing and whatnot. And she had said that a lady had astral projected to her, right? So this lady they were wondering, well, what are you doing? And that's exactly all it takes. All it takes is somebody getting jealous that you're getting more likes, subscribes, and shares, that you're getting more views, that you're getting more clients, that you're getting more attention. And which is what happened with this lady. This lady got mad because nobody was coming to their table, and instead of going in person and gang stalking and witchcraft, the growing of Santa Muerte worship, right? Because it's not just worshiping of Santa Muerte, who was created by the Catholic Church as a demon to get the Mexicans to, I think it was the Mexicans to, well, it was the Mexicans, but in the article it said something else, and that's what I'm trying to remember. But to get the Mexicans to convert to Christianity, okay? Um, but with the Santa Muerte, because Santa Muerte or Azazel, really, because it demands a sacrifice. So Santa Muerte's colors, as well as Azazel's colors, are black, red, and you will also see blue, right? Mix that with white, and you got the American flag. And you will see okay, this gets deep now, y'all. This gets real deep, Phoenixes. So you will see them sporting the American flag. But they're not doing it because of that. They're doing it to have allegiance to Azazel or Santa Muerte. I mean, some of them know that it's Azazel. Some of them know just come from the Santa Muerte. So they'll wear red and black. That's what they did in Sacramento. I mean, they would take Coca-Cola cans, which are what? Red and black, red and white. Guess who dominates that company? Okay? I mean, as I've said, you got to die to everything that you think you know. And every type of false conditioning that we've had, where people have told us that we were racist when we were just expressing what actually happened, in order to keep our mouths shut. I had this Mexican gang that killed my mother, that killed my 3 fur babies. Were sacrificed at that black goo. Yeah, I had a baby who lasted a week, and that's all she was puking up. And it was meant for me. It came and attacked me. And I used my mantra, but it hit me so hard and it was so thick that I should have kept doing it. Now I know. There's a reason why when you are chanting mantra that you say it 108 times. You have to chant at least 30 minutes for that toxic demonic energy, for that mantra that you're saying to clear out. So no, I'm not racist. I just had to be real with myself. Because when you kill my family members simply because you feel entitled to an area that I am renting and felt offended because I said something and set a boundary, because that's how the gang stalking started for me, and that was as simple as it was. That's as simple as it was. People have to start taking these cluster B personalities seriously. They are dangerous. You have to start recognizing and seeing the signs, because if you don't heal yourself and get it out of you, get that toxic and that poison out of you, you're going to think that what the cluster B personality is doing to you or to somebody else is normal, and you're going to become a flying fucking monkey. So hopefully this helps somebody. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm going to go to bed. But I wanted to get that out because just with the succubus and that I'm dealing, the succubuses that I'm dealing with, these are people who are obsessed. They are obsessed over you being dominated, right? I have never had a female stalker before now, and one has been stalking me for over 10 years. You know, you have to be able to protect yourself in the spirit. And many times people don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole of consciousness, of the occult, of metaphysics, right? We can talk about energy. You talk about the surface stuff. And if you keep doing the surface, you're never going to be able to go deep to your authentic self. And if you never go deep to your authentic self, you're never going to know how powerful you are. When I discovered how powerful I was in the spiritual realm, especially because I chose to take on my hero's journey and purify my bloodline, that was the end goal. Everything else is just rewards and benefits. As I used to tell my stalkers, the devil does not bless. He breadcrumbs you because he's a narcissist, sociopath, just like you guys. But when you work on the side of the Most High God, it doesn't. He's going to bless you because he's generous. There's no restrictions. And that's what makes them mad. They chose the wrong side, but now they're addicted to the drama, right? Doreen Virtue has a a book called "Don't Let Anybody Dull Your Sparkle," where she talks about the addiction to drama. That is literally a chemical in the brain, right? But when you're dealing with a cluster B cocktail, they don't have any emotions. They are apathetic. They are apathetic. They don't care. It makes them feel good. You will hear, they will cry, they will get upset because, of course, they have feelings, but their feelings aren't normal feelings. Like somebody getting mad because they can't snatch up a child or an animal. And Sacramento was the hub for all that toxic perversity, the 12 perversions that they want to implement in this country, which includes regular violations of kids and animals. You know, that's what it includes. But nobody wants to talk about that. So when you talk about good and coming from your authentic self, you have to make sure that you are ready to see what was normally hidden from you. You have to make sure that you are mature enough, that you've done enough work to be able to go into those areas where fact is stranger or fiction is stranger than fact, however that thing goes, that saying goes. You feel me? Because it's not for the skeptical, it's not for the weak. It really is not. And I see a lot of people just getting high. They don't want to. When you're content with just being on welfare and smoking a blunt, then that's, I mean, like that's all there is out of life. You're not in your purpose. You're a useless feeder, right? And that's what they want to make everybody. And that's why they attack our bodies. That's why they attack our minds. So when you guys think of succubuses, it's not this folklore. It's a succubus or an incubus is somebody who is an energy vampire in a nutshell. And their whole purpose is to drain your life force. That's it. They just don't stop from one to the other, or okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'll do this. That's not the way that they work. It's the whole kit and caboodle with them. Some may focus on the finances more, some may focus on the sex more. However they choose to get their fill. Okay? So hopefully this helps somebody. And remember, your blessings are in your ashes. Rise, Phoenix.